Sponsored by TechTime Radio. Visit them online at techtimeradio.com.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you ever heard of turbo debt?
No, what is that? Something to get me into debt faster?
No, turbo debt is not to get you in debt faster. It's to help you get out of debt. Do you have over $10,000 in credit card, personal loans, medical, or payday loans?
Of course I have debt. That's the American way.
Au contraire, mon frere. Turbo debt will give you the option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
Over 70% of Americans die with credit card debt. Do not let this happen to you. Turbo debt will give you an option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and personal loans, medical, or payday loans, they can help. Go to turbodebt.com/techtime. Again, that's turbodebt.com/techtime, all capitalized, for a free consultation today. TurboDebt is a proud sponsor of this week's episode of TechTime Radio.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. Each week, our show covers the weekly top technology subjects without any political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes. And of course, with a little whiskey on the side. We live stream during the show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at techtimeradio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/TechTime Radio. I'm Nathan Mumm, your technologist here with 30 years expertise working for Fortune 500 companies across the country. My co-host here, Mike Roday, is an award-winning author, originally from Arizona. Mike is a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology. Mike is here to keep me from geeking out while providing insight into human behavior and how it interacts with technology. We are two friends from different backgrounds, but bring the best technology show possible every week for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right, today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, we've installed a beeper buzzer in the studio, Mike Roday, in case you slip a word or two. Odie's going to be ready to make sure she hits that buzzer, because I know we had a little bit of an FCC violation last week.
You know, I'm going to make one right now if you don't move
Hang
on.
Okay. All right. That's not what we're doing on today's show. Like, all right. Can a high school senior science project one day save lives? Mike's going to be exploring that with an application. Then TikTok sues Montana over the ban on an app. We're going to be talking about that kind of in depth. That's kind of our lead story today. And then the European watchdog fines Meta $1.3 billion over privacy violation. $1.3 billion.
Privacy violations?
Over privacy violations.
Oh, yep.
Yep. And then next, our feature segment, What We Found on the Web, is all about my former company, Microsoft. We have a few insider scoops we're going to be talking about. And finally, we explain why this week is more important than May 4th's fan-created Star Wars holiday for the franchise. In addition, of course, we have our standard features, including Mike's mesmerizing moment, This Week in Technology, and a possible Nathan Nugget. I hope we get to the Nathan Nugget. Boy, I had to lug around some stuff today for the Nathan Nugget, so that'll be good.
I don't know about that.
All right, as always, we have our pick of the day whiskey tasting during the commercials to see if our selected whiskey pick gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Now it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, story number 1. TikTok sues Montana over banning their app. Let's go to Dan Haley and Yahoo News for more on this story.
Some breaking news in the tech space. TikTok filing a lawsuit against the state of Montana after the state's governor signed a TikTok ban into law last week. What specifically is TikTok alleging?
Yeah, so there's a number of things that TikTok is actually alleging here, essentially saying that this law just can't go forward. And let me just go through a few of them. They first point to the First Amendment, saying that this violates the rights of users, as well as TikTok's parent company said, "We are challenging Montana's unconstitutional TikTok ban to protect our business and the hundreds of thousands of TikTok users in Montana. We believe our legal challenge will prevail based on an exceedingly strong set of precedents and fact." Also, the experts that I spoke to had said, look, instead of doing something like this, there's an easier solution here rather than banning the app. Pass some kind of federal data privacy law, and that would protect users' data without having to cut them off from TikTok.
Yeah, it comes down to regulation. At least that's one of the arguments there. Dan Halley, thanks so much for that.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about this. All right, the Montana law says that they are not allowing TikTok to be there because they believe that it violates, without any proof or any tangible evidence, it violates users' privacies. And essentially, the state has now jumped in.
How is it that we have no tangible proof when we have security experts talking about this all over the place?
Okay. So we have Nick on the time. Nick hates TikTok because of the privacy issues. Well, here's the problem, though. A state can't say a country is using privacy stuff. That has to be a federal jurisdiction. It cannot be a state level jurisdiction.
Why is that?
That's the way our Constitution is actually written. According to the First Amendment, and I've talked with two experts that both say the First Amendment rights experts agree that TikTok has a very valid point. The national security threat raised by officials in Montana is not something that state officials can attempt to regulate, since foreign affairs and national security matters are a federal issue.
That is true.
So Montana has decided to jump on in here, regulate it. Now let's talk what they're going to have to do to regulate this.
So is Montana saying that nobody in Montana is allowed to use TikTok?
That is correct.
Okay.
So,
how are they planning on? Yes. How are they planning on regulating?
Well, the law puts the onus on companies like Apple and Google, which control the App Store, saying that they will call for fees of fines of $10,000 a day against companies that allow TikTok and their apps available in the state of Montana effective January 2024. So if I have an Apple device or I have a Google device and I'm at the border and I walk over into into Montana, that they could then find the companies, Apple and Google. This is just a great thing to do.
Yeah, okay.
They can find them for having the app since the app has been banned.
Okay.
So you're going to levy a fine against the provider of a phone. You're then going to have to, we'll talk about privacy. You're going to have to then GPS block these people. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Montana probably figured out that this is not going to go very far. But what is this? Is this a wake-up call that this is important enough that there should be legal action taken against this privacy issue at the federal level? Or are they just doing a cash grab because Montana needs money?
Well, Montana, actually, legislative experts, which are nowhere near any technology experts, probably the worst place to say that you're going to have a technology expert in Montana. That's just the hotbed for cyber development. I'm absolutely going to say that out there. Their courts and their governor has decided that he knows about technology, and this is something that even the United States doesn't know, and he has inside tracks that China has information on.
Of course, I mean,
it's like the voter thing from the pillow guy. Come on now.
But then again, we have the Senate subcommittee asking really outrageously
stupid questions on
ChatGPT. So what is this really?
Okay, so what this is, if this actually takes place, they would have to work with Apple and Google to geolocate phones. And as they start coming across the border, and they'd have to be precise. I mean, they'd have to be precise, because if I'm in another state and I don't get this app, then all of a sudden I can then sue Montana for putting the restrictions on me. So if I'm think of a border town or anything like that, you would have to be precise. You would have to make sure, and then anybody that was geolocated in that area, they would turn off the phones. If you start geolocating
off the phones
or the apps to receive the data, because you're not going to know if this app is running and having the data download. So they're going to have to just blind social media data being sent to and from of this app in this environment. So you would have to create so much software and logic to have this actually happen.
You believe this is stupidity in action?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And this is really 100%. Not just sort of, because this also highlights the fact that these companies are using the First Amendment in order to garner information that they're using for whatever purposes they're garnering, right?
Yeah.
So what could it be? Any of these other,
and I've been a little bit of a supporter of TikTok, but you have to ban then all social medias. If you're going to pick on one company, you can't do that. That has to be federal. That has to be a federal decision.
This is something that the federal government should be paying more attention to, and they should have experts asking about this instead of senators and congressmen who have no idea what technology is.
We'll see if this actually takes effect in January 2024. If I'm a betting man, and
I'm pretty sure this is
10 to 1 odds, this is not going to happen at all.
I wouldn't be surprised if this gets withdrawn before the court appearance. So.
Absolutely. All right, story number 2, Mike. Help save me here because, whew,
yeah.
I'm excited.
Okay, so this is one more of these questionable AI things, and whether or not a school senior science project can save lives one day.
Okay.
So this senior at the Woodlands College Park High School outside of Houston, named Sidhu Pachapala, I think that's how you pronounce that. He created a science project that uses AI to pull information from text messages and TikToks and things like that in order to see if a person could be suicidal. Right?
Okay.
So he designed an app that uses this AI to scan these texts for suicidal risks. He thinks it could someday help replace outdated methods of diagnosis. Our writing patterns can reflect what we're thinking, and it hasn't really been extended to this extent. Now, that is a factor of truth. And I say a factor because this is the problem that I've said over and over about AI and people who are using AI to do psychological things.
Okay.
Because they take an idea and they run with it, and they don't understand the psychology behind it. Okay. So experts point out this kind of AI, which is called natural language processing, has been around since the mid-1990s. It's not a panacea, which means that it's not the cure-all. Okay. Machine learning is helping people get better, and as they get more and more data, they're able to improve that system. But chatbots aren't going to be a silver bullet, which is what this sort of kid is thinking, and kudos to him for thinking along these lines. Experts note that there are many such efforts like this underway already, and one of the major concerns is, of course, false alarms and false positives. That's because, like I said earlier, just because somebody says, I feel like hurting myself, is not an indication that they are thinking about it. More students and families are turning to schools for mental health support. Software that scans young people's words and, by extension, thoughts is one approach that they are using to take the pulse on youth mental health, but it can't take the place of human interaction, which is where the diagnosis has to come from. And we were talking about in things like suicidal thoughts and things. This is a self-assessment tool that he created.
He got claims for this, right? I mean, it was
he did, and he went to DC on a
Washington DC as a congratulations for winning.
Yeah, I mean this is
national recognition.
This is noteworthy. It's noteworthy, but we have to be careful about what we like. The title of the article, is this science going to save lives? Well, maybe it's going to help, but it's not going to do it for us. And one of the problem with self-assessment tools is that if a person is well, you have to take them, but this is being used to alert somebody that they might have suicidal thoughts. Which is
so if I'm a suicidal person,
which is problematic. In that people who are contemplating suicide already know they have suicidal thoughts. So one of the big problems here is that by using this AI to say, hey, we've noted this stuff going on, and it seems like you might be contemplating suicide, that may
enhance the probably chance.
It may put the thoughts in their head to do something about it, or it may create other issues.
Okay.
That's the problem. That's
Okay.
why this is an issue that is. It's a nice way of thinking about it, but again, it's one of these ways that AI is being taken in a single dimension and trying to diagnose a complex problem.
So great job that he created an app. Great job
he's thinking about this, and that's great. We
it's
just
not
can't
the
think.
end all.
Yes,
no app is going to help prevent
this
suicide.
is not the be all end all, and we have to make sure that we don't consider that, because if somebody is relying on an app to tell them what's going on in their mental health, that's a big problem in and of itself.
Okay, that makes sense. Thanks.
And if you are thinking about suicide, you probably should be using the 988 number, that National Suicide Hotline, and get some help.
Thank you so much, Mike. All right, story number 3. European watchdog fines Meta $1.3 billion over privacy violation. Let's go to Routers here with information on this landmark fine.
Meta was hit with a record $1.3 billion fine on Monday. The European Union's lead privacy regulator punished the tech giant for its handling of user information. It also gave Meta 5 months to stop transferring users' data to the US. Meta said it would appeal the ruling and called the fine unjustified and unnecessary. The EU has been in a long-running battle with Meta over where Facebook stores its data. The firm said last month it expected the agreement would be fully implemented before it had to suspend transfers. That would mean its previous warning that a stoppage could force it to suspend Facebook in Europe will not happen. The penalty was far higher than the EU's previous record fine for privacy violations.
Okay, so let's talk about this.
Well, here we have the example of a federal government that is taking action against privacy violations.
Okay, so this is a government, though. This isn't a state.
Right, this isn't a state.
It's a government. Okay, so there's GDPR. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that is a privacy act that the European Union has came on out with. What is that? 4, 5, 6 years ago. I don't know the exact date. Quite a long time. It's a very basic. I went to lots of classes when this came on out because everybody was really excited about what data you can have. The number one thing you need to understand is if you have data about European people in Europe, you can't transmit it out of Europe. That is like number 101 rule is if you have people about Europe in Europe, and that's where you gathered it, it has to stay in Europe. If you got information about people in the United States that are Europeans, it has to stay in the United States. You can't go on out. So I can't take information I get about a European person in the United States and transfer it and sell that to China, to sell it to Germany or anything.
It's saying where you collect the data, it stays there.
Yeah, so that's it. So just understand that basic concept. And this is pretty simple to get. I think most people could get this. So Facebook continues to transfer user data from countries in the European Union and the European Economic Area to the United States. Blatantly says, middle finger, screw you. We're still going to transfer it to the United States, despite being suspended for doing so already in 2021. We covered that story on the air ourselves here. So the investigation said, hey, you guys haven't done anything to fix that. So they said, guess what? Since this is a serious infringement, we've already sent you warnings. We've given you like 2 years to figure this out, but that you can't do it. Just keep the data on the servers in Europe. You're Meta. You can buy a server database that you store in Europe. It's pretty simple to do. This is, again, 101 rocket science, but Meta has chosen with their apps, including WhatsApp and Instagram, to still send that information to the United States. And of course, what does Meta say they're going to do? They're going to plan to appeal the ruling and seek to suspend the case from proceeding in court.
Of course they are, because they aren't doing anything wrong. But then China's getting ours, so what's going on here?
There you go. Okay, well, so let's just be... So if you pay for an application, you can ask to have your data not taken care of. If you use a free social media network, wherever that originates from, you're sharing the data because you're getting it for free. Someone has to write TikTok. Somebody has to write Facebook. Someone has to maintain it. You just can't have that for free the rest of your lives.
Well,
I don't get why this is so complicated to understand.
That's because we don't pay attention to that stuff. The general populace is not concerned with these kind of things. They want what they want, and if they can use the app for whatever they want to, take pictures of their dinners and post dancing on it or whatever.
Yeah.
They're not consciously, and a lot of these are children too. So
okay. Well.
So but really,
so this is Facebook.
Is a $1.3 billion fine a big deal?
What's the number one fine that's been levied?
That's the largest
fine so far.
But is it enough? Is it enough of a fine?
I think. Well,
Meta is
if they
in trouble
can actually,
right now.
Yeah, Meta actually is hurting for money. Mm-hmm. So this actually probably will be a little bit more than a hey, we'll just pay it and see you later type of deal. That's why they're actually going to contest it because they can't be losing. They're already losing millions and millions of dollars quarterly. They can't be losing billions of dollars on fines for something that they could easily just put in place and have it work correctly.
If they lose,
if I'm in charge of their IT department, I would just have a server maintaining the data
why not?
in freaking Europe.
But if
you can have it.
If they lose that appeal,
do
they have to pay?
I don't know how that all goes.
Okay.
I don't know either. Okay, well, that ends our top stories of the week. Moving on, we have a special What We Found on the Web segment coming up all about my old company, Microsoft. What is Redmond, Washington's giant up to lately? We have the scoop. You're listening to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. See you after the break. Hello, listeners. We're excited here at Tech Time Radio, aren't we, Mike?
Oh, no.
We have an announcement to make starting in June. We're really excited to be a part of an internet radio station. That's right. Coming up in June, you will still be able to listen to us live here at Kixie 880 and KKNW and all of our affiliate stations. But you'll be able to listen to us at 8 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday now. We look forward to this new opportunity to provide you Tech Time Radio every weekday. And again, you can always catch us online at techtimeradio.com. Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Tech Time is a weekly hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you by myself, Nathan Mumm, and Mike Day. We just had our first whiskey tasting during the break. And now let me tell you about what we are sipping in our pick of the day during the show today. We have chosen the Freeland Spirits Bourbon Whiskey, 92 proof, $49.95. From the website, it says Freeland's Bourbon pays homage to the South, to the Grandma Freeland and the namesake of Freeland Spirits. Soft caramel, vanilla, and spices dance into the whiskey from charred American oak barrels. A final rest in Oregon's Elk Cove. Pinot Noir barrels add to the element of the Pacific Northwest territory. Blended with precision by our master distillery, Molly Troop, to achieve balanced texture and harmony of flavors. This is a finished bourbon, probably bottled in Indiana, is where they're to be taken care of. It's aged 3 years, 92 proof, 70% corn, 20% rye, 10% malted barley. And I pre-show tasted this, and I during the break tasted this, and I like it. But you know what? This is what I'm figuring. There's only like 7 whiskeys I haven't liked on the show. So again, if you're listening to the show and you're taking my advice for
don't
whiskey,
take Nathan's advice.
then it's probably not going to be. I just like whiskey in general, so I like it all. So, but I do think this has a very.
You just outed yourself.
I just like everything. I do taste probably the vanilla a little bit. I taste the spices. You know, it's interesting because I actually did some research on this. I'm sure Mark's going to probably talk about it in the mumbles.
He's got like 3 paragraphs.
Does he? So this is an all-women distillery.
Yeah.
So, and it's just
I'm going to talk about that.
Oh, you're going to talk about that? Okay.
Yeah.
I did that when I was doing the search for the little write-ups here that we put together. And
female founded, female crafted.
Really? Cool.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So what do you think so far?
So far, I like the taste, but I can't give it a complete yay on it because I had a piece of candy earlier, and that's mixing in with the flavor.
Okay. Well, hopefully that candy goes through. All right. Well, with our first whiskey tasting completed, now we're going to move on to our future segment, Microsoft. What are you doing now? On What We Found on the Web, we're looking at all the stories about Microsoft that we love so much to cover it in one segment.
what we found on the web.
All right. So everybody knows, if you've been listening to the show here, I worked at Microsoft for 10 plus years, right? Redmond, worked for a couple other Fortune 500 companies, and Microsoft was really kind of my first job out of college.
Should we talk about how that became your first job out of college?
No, we don't have that much time to talk about how we got out of college. But so this was kind of my growing space for 10 years, and probably one of the best companies I've ever worked for. They provided great training, great leadership in those eras. That was back when I started there. They had a token ring network, which is an old-fashioned network. They were on LAN Manager. We were on Windows 3.11, Windows for Workgroups. And we had a Zenith client email system before MS Mail 32 was even released.
Oh, my.
So that was a little bit of a time back in the day.
I hear a dinosaur walking down.
You see, I was there when they were building buildings 15, 16, and 17, and then they built building 21. Now these buildings don't even exist. Now they're like these huge corporate centers. So, okay, well, Microsoft is making it easier to migrate to a new PC. Okay? Now, how difficult is this? This is actually very difficult on a PC. This is why when I get a new computer, I literally keep my old computer until I can shut it off, because the icons don't transfer. The applications I have don't necessarily transfer. I have to reload them back up again. If I have a game loaded and I want to play the game,
yeah, I guess I have the same problem. I was thinking that the data transfer wasn't that hard, but
now, okay, so
now
how about your Steam library? You're gonna have to download all your Steam games.
I have to download everything again.
Okay,
so it's going to be massive amounts of download time.
Yeah, it's like an 8-hour process normally when I get a new machine. Well, when it comes to upgrading to a new PC, they are going to help you, Microsoft, with a brand new, simpler process to restore your apps for Windows 11. The company announced today at the Microsoft build that it'll preserve the setup of your old PC into the new one, migrating the layout as well as the data. In other words, if you have a particular app pinned on the taskbar, that will copy over. Any icons that you have scattered around the desktop, hopefully not too many, of course.
It's like a ghost picture.
That will transfer over too. What's that?
Just like a ghost picture of your hard drive.
Well, yeah. Well, they're actually going to use a migration tool that they're actually creating to transfer that stuff, but to keep the same thing. Restore app looks optional, and that you can be turned off if you prefer to start fresh with a brand new clean setup. You don't have to choose to take advantage of it, though. If you do registered with the Microsoft account, you can take full advantage. Setting up your Windows 11 with a local account can be done. The companies preserve its best features for those that provide the company within Microsoft a Microsoft account.
That's the rub, though.
Okay, it is.
You have to have Microsoft 11.
Now let's talk about this. So you have to have Windows 11, right? And you're going to have to get this app. Now, guess what? There's an application called Migration Assistant from Apple. Guess when it was released?
When?
January 23rd, 2003. Not 2013, not 2023. 2003.
20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Microsoft is a little behind the curve there.
That's what this announcement. I almost don't know if you announce something like this. I mean, it's like, oh, okay, well, we're 20 minutes late to the party, but we're here finally with a tool that will be able to provide you to migrate to a new machine.
Yay.
Yeah. I was just when I found that out, that's a big breaking news today.
Windows 11.
You have to have Windows 11.
See, I've got one computer that I don't want to migrate.
I have Windows 10.
And then I have one that can't upgrade to Windows 11.
It really? Yeah. You know what? I'm just keeping them. Windows 10 was going to be the last operating system you ever needed.
Come on, Microsoft.
Nadia Sadata said it was all never going to have to need
what is up
else.
with you?
I don't know. All right. Let's take a look at what we have next on the story from Microsoft. Windows Copilot. Have you ever heard of Windows Copilot?
No.
Oh, it's a new branding for ChatGPT built into the operating system.
Oh, hallelujah.
Windows Copilot puts AI in the middle of Microsoft's most important software. A taskbar icon shaped like the loop of a blue ribbon. You ever remember those blue ribbons, yellow ribbons you tie on a tree type of deal? That was a whole deal back when we were growing up.
Or the ones you win at a state fair?
Well, no. Okay, never mind. So it's a loop of a blue ribbon that will now be added to your taskbar. And essentially what it does is it opens a new artificial intelligence interface to control your PC and make it useful. Microsoft has begun building an AI chat interface straight into its single most important software productivity tool. Of course, announced today, the tool will perform tasks like summarizing documents, suggesting music, offering tech support for your PC. Now so I just paused right here.
Yeah,
So
I think I know where you're going with that.
how am I going to get so if my computer is having a problem, this chat GPT is going to tell me I'm having a computer program? Why don't they just fix it to begin with? Why do I need to engage some chat device to help me with my computer problem?
I get really tired of Alexa recommending stuff to me all the time. I'm like, no, shut up.
Does she
Yeah, you know, there's always these notifications, and I'll ask for the notification. I'll be like, hey, we saw this and thought you might like it. No, shut up. I don't want this.
Well, now it's going to offer you, of course, tech support, and it will answer questions you might ask a search engine or AI chatbot. Windows Copilot is scheduled to arrive in a preview version of Windows in June via an icon in the taskbar that looks like that blue ribbon loop. Clicking on it opens the chat interface, and you can ask it questions like enable dark mode, and it will then automatically click buttons to take action.
This is kind of like Hey Google, or what was it for the PC? Not Siri, it's
Cortana.
Cortana.
So this is Cortana that didn't work. So
this is Cortana that will work.
Yeah. So now we're going to put AI on it. We're going to call it Copilot.
Okay.
So we're not going to put a name to it. So there you go.
Right.
All right. Well,
I don't know about this one.
This is what Satya Nadella said. We're bringing the Copilot to the biggest canvas of all, Windows
11.
There you go. All right. Now, the deal for Activision, Microsoft, evaded a potential early legal obstacle in its $69 billion deal to acquire the Call of Duty video game maker Activision Blizzard Inc. And Activision Blizzard Inc. is in such a disarray company. I don't think they're worth $6.9 billion, but I guess you get the Call of Duty titles.
69, not 6.9, 69.
$69 billion. $69 billion. A U.S. judge said last week he refused to allow gamers in a private suit to block the acquisition. The U.S. District Judge Jacqueline Scott Corley in San Francisco federal court said that the ruling issued late on Friday night that the video gamers had not shown that they would be able to prove that it would be irreparable harm if the merger was allowed to proceed before she rules on the merits of this case.
Okay, so a bunch of gamers got together and tried to block this.
That's correct.
That's what I'm hearing.
That's what they said. They said that this is going to make these games now for Activision be exclusively on the Microsoft platforms.
So they were whining that they wouldn't have access to them?
Or whining that the games would change and they wouldn't be the same that they have now.
Okay. They've been hanging out with congressmen, I guess.
Okay, that's right. So now the court ruled that they are not taking this seriously. They're not moving forward to court. The court ruling does come after days where Microsoft won the European Union antitrust approval. The deal faces regulatory scrutiny by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission and also in China and South Korea. So the U.S. FTC could say they don't want it to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. China could say that they don't like it. Oh, what is that going to do? And South Korea could say that they don't like it. Oh, what's that going to do? Nothing.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea. That's why you're asking. That's where you're talking.
All right. Microsoft 365. Have you had problems logging into this lately?
No, actually.
Okay. So that's good. But there has been a subset of users that have been prevented from logging into their 365 accounts and were actually blocked access to install the apps themselves. The company confirmed the issue in a tweet shared via the Microsoft 365 status account and pointed admins to the Microsoft 365 Center for more details. Now, you know what?
No.
We're kind of dogging on Microsoft. At least they put out, when this was happening, on their alert accounts that they were having problems.
I thought this was your favorite company.
Well, I'm just dogging on the first couple things. So I do have a little soft spot for this company. But I'm just saying, at least they put the details out. Now, affected customers, though, did have experiences where they couldn't get access to their mailboxes. And this is not the first time this has happened. Last month, Microsoft had an outage across the Exchange online connectivity issues in North America. In March, there was a blockage of the Exchange online customers worldwide, and there was a massive hit in January. So essentially, if you have Microsoft 365...
Microsoft has been having too much fiber lately. Huh?
Once a month, your Office 365 is going to go down in crap. So that's what you just need to understand. Okay. It'll be down for a day or two, and then it'll be back up, and you can move forward.
Well, at least it's not a rolling blackout.
All right. Well, that got us through all the subjects we're going to talk about regarding our company down on Redmond Road, Microsoft's first main road into the campus. I remember such fond days going around Lake Bill, Building 4,
And
playing
nobody knows what you're
basketball
talking
out
about.
on the day. Okay, that's true. You're right. Okay, now that ends our segment, what we found on the web. Up next, we have This Week in Technology. So now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side, as we'll be doing so during the break. You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm. See you in a few minutes.
This is Mark
and Greg
for Copiers Northwest
with a terrific offer
called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner,
one of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service
as long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers
or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives
and let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right. On our look back, we're going all the way to May 25th, May 21st, 1980, and May 25th, 1983. Why are we hitting all those?
Star Wars, baby.
This is correct. The motion picture Star Wars is released to 32 U.S. theaters in May 25th, 1977. The film was immediately breaking records unlike anything had done before, essentially becoming the first blockbuster in history. The film's unprecedented use of special effects sparked a revolution of having movies with technology-based effects. Perhaps the film's greatest contribution to technology was the creation 2 years earlier of this company called Industrial Light and Magic, which is still a leading special effects house in the movie industry today. Now, May 21st, 1980, the sequel to the smash hit success Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. Now, this is my favorite movie.
Okay, this is when you talk to Star Wars folks, this is usually the one that everybody likes the best.
I like this the best. You got the Hoth,
best, yep.
You got Hoth battle going on. You got the big, huge. I mean, this is when you had huge ATA walkers coming on out.
AT-ATs.
AT-AT walkers coming across the frozen tundra of Hoth, going to attack the rebel base, where they had to actually put special clamps on the snow speeders so that when they shot the clamps around the feet.
Are you mansplaining this?
No, I'm just re-explaining Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back.
I don't think you need to explain that, man.
Okay, all right. Almost exactly 3 years after the original release, this pioneer use of special effects technology transformed the movie industry yet again. And then on May 25th, 1983, the third installment of the original Star Wars trilogy, Return of the Jedi. So Lucas knew that it was May 25th, May 21st, and May 25th. 1983, of course, Return of the Jedi continued to raise the bar. I don't know about that. In special effects, not in storytelling. But the film's final space battle was the size and scale unprecedented at the time.
Yes.
That is a pretty good when they have the Millennium Falcon coming on in and the TIE fighters and the X-Wings are all shooting everybody. And you got the big Star Destroyer there. Those are great scenes where poor Reg is getting shot up. And okay, never mind. All right.
I'm trying to figure out what you're doing here.
I'm just explaining the Return of the Jedi. Have you ever seen Return of the Jedi?
I think everybody has.
Right.
Most people have.
Okay, all right.
If they haven't, they have no idea what you're trying to say.
Okay,
anyway, what's the Death Star?
All right, here we go. That was This Week in Technology. Have you ever wanted to watch some tech time history with over 2 years of video podcasts, blog information, and many other items? You can visit techtimeradio.com to watch our shows or join the Tech Timer Facebook group. Talk with us live all the time. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have Mark's Mumble Whiskey Review and our Technology Fail of the Week. We'll see you after the break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our medium roast founder series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Mark's Whiskey Mumble.
All right. I don't know where Mark gets all this stuff, but
Okay.
you know what today is?
What is today?
National Drinking with Chickens Day.
What?
Yeah.
What? There's
It's National Drinking with Chickens Day.
National Drinking with Chickens
Occurs
Day.
annually on May 23rd.
Okay.
It's founded by Kate Richards, who is the author of Drinking with Chickens, Free-Range Cocktails for the Happiest Hour, which features her cocktail recipes with ingredients found fresh in her garden and her chickens. Ingredients found in her chicken. Okay, I'm not sure about that.
Well, ingredients maybe in the garden.
She is the leader of the Drinking with Chickens. I don't understand. I'm having trouble with this.
So there must be a day where you go out. Do you drink with your chicken? There's some crazy people with chickens. They let them in their house. At least these things crap all over everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
They let them in their house. They let them in this. I don't get those type of people.
I know. Anyway,
is he trying to make fun of me because I have
probably
chickens?
because you have chickens?
I do. We have like 12 chickens.
You drink with your chickens?
No. Heck no. Heck no.
I drink with.
They lay eggs.
I drink with my chicken.
Oh, you drink with your chicken
after I cook it.
Okay. Okay. There you go. All right.
All right. So we're talking about Freeland Spirits Bourbon. I said earlier it's female founded and female crafted. Freeland is a female owned and operated company named for founder Jill Kuehler's, I think that's how you pronounce that, grandmother, who she calls Mima Freeland, and who was ironically a teetotaler. You know what a teetotaler is, right?
Is that someone that drinks tea a lot?
That is somebody who does not drink alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Kuehler's background
Do those people exist?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for them. Continue on. Sorry.
Kuehler's background is in nonprofit management and agriculture. Her last gig was as the director of Portland's nonprofit, Zangar Farm. Together with biochemist turned distiller Molly Troop, she launched Freeland Gin, a house distilled spirit, in December of 2017. This bourbon was the distillery's second spirit and comes in a gorgeous teardrop-shaped bottle, which is nice.
It is.
If you ever are in the area of Portland, Oregon, this is a fun and beautiful distillery to visit. Their specialty is gin. However, they have made quite an impact with their bourbon offering. Though it is youthful and corn-forward, the Pinot Noir influence takes out the grainy notes and leaves you with a sweet butterscotch and vanilla bean. The slightly higher proof, though low proof for Mark, makes this stand apart with it being a simple, straightforward bourbon that Mark is happy to sip on. And it's pretty good.
It's pretty good now that I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Now that I have time to let the candy go, I can taste it better.
That's good. All right. Well, that was exciting. You know what?
What are we pairing it with today?
Whiskey and technology are like pairing Adam and Eve. You can't have one without the other.
Maybe it should be.
Well, there you go. All right.
Copy and paste.
All right. That'd be a good one, too. That's the next one coming up. All right. Let's get ready for our technology fail of the week. Brought to you by...
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh. I failed. Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right.
I feel like you got pwned on.
There you go. Technology fail of the week comes to us this week. We were talking about this last night at our production meeting. From Hewlett Packard.
Hewlett Packard.
All right.
I have an HP printer.
Do you have an HP printer? Well, I hope you don't have this printer because we're going to be talking about what's going on. HP rushes to fix bricked printers after a faulty firmware update. HP is working to address a bad firmware update that has been bricking the HP OfficeJet printers worldwide since it was released earlier this month. While HP has yet to issue a public statement regarding these ongoing problems affecting a subset of its customer base, the company told our producers that it's addressing the blue screen errors seen by a limited number of users. We are recommending customers experiencing the error to contact the support team at https://support.hp.com if you are impacted. Now, the impacted printers that we got from them includes the HP OfficeJet 902 models, including the OfficeJet Pro 9022E, the Pro 9025E, and the 902 all-in-one, the HP OfficeJet Pro 9025E, also all-in-one printer. So those,
not my printer.
That's a lot of printers. So these are not, they're trying to make this sound like this is not a lot, but the affected customers now, if they had the firmware upgrade set to auto, because by default, they always tell you the best practice is to turn your printer on to make sure it always stays up with updates, to turn the auto update feature on. Now we're looking at a blue screen that says 83C0000B on the touchscreen. Now, HP has no solution at this time. The hidden service menu is not showing up, and the printer is not booting anymore. Only the blue screen said the customer's online. I talked with the HP customer service rep, and they told me that they don't have a solution to fix this firmware issue at the moment.
So this is not something you can just restart the printer.
No, since the buggy update seems to install automatically into the internet-based connected printers, which is by default, HP customers are now advised to go on into their settings and disable the function to update them internet connected and wait for a firmware update to fix the bricking issue.
Well,
so we're going to solve it by
is it a little too late for that?
Well,
if they're bricked, is it going to really help?
So this is what you have to do. This is what you have to contact HP support. Guess what their solution is? Can you please send us back the printer to our warehouse? We'll repair it and send it back to you. Now, people have done this, and they take a picture. They take a picture of the serial number, right? And the serial number of the printer that they send in is not the serial number of the printer they're getting back.
Okay.
So HP does not know how to fix these.
Out.
They're just giving you a brand new printer.
And then when you get your brand new printer, does it get bricked?
Well, then it's coming by default. They're making sure that at least they're doing that work to make sure that by default now, moving forward, the auto update feature is not turned on.
Awesome.
There you go. Let me tell you, HP, let's be a little bit better about what we do. Maybe we should test a little bit more and what we got going on before we send a national firmware update to printers without having it properly tested.
Okay. All
right, we're going to head out for our last commercial break. When we return, we still have Mike's mesmerizing moment brought to us by Story Coffee and a Nathan Nugget, along with our pick of the day. So sit back, raise a glass. You're listening to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm.
How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon, the Bookpository, and more.
This is Mike's mesmerizing moment, presented by Story Coffee. Visit storycoffee.com. All right. We talked about this last night at the production meeting. Now, for those people that were not online last night,
are you going to talk about the Twitch stream?
Yeah. So we're going to probably do this now regularly. So if you're a listener and you want to hear Mike, myself, Alessandra, a couple other of our production staff get on and play every Monday night after our production meeting around 8:30 or 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. You can go to the Tech Time Radio Twitch feed and see us play a game called Sea of Thieves. Now, we apologize for any language,
I don't apologize for that.
Any joking that we do or anything to that extent. It is not a safe for work programming, but if you want to see some old guys playing a pirate game, you're absolutely welcome to. But speaking of that,
what's that got to do with my mesmerizing moment?
Okay, so we talked about this right now. Everyone knows to support a YouTube channel, you need to subscribe and like, right?
Well, yeah, that's how their algorithm works.
So, should people call to action on each video to make sure you subscribe and like? We talked about this last night for a pretty long time. I wanted your opinion because I know Gwen's opinion. I know Mark's opinion. What is your opinion on this?
Well, I don't know that I have an opinion. Okay. I just know that when I view this, I have to go through a call to action sequence from every person on YouTube every time I watch a video.
Okay.
They always started to say, hey, click that like button, smash that like button, leave a comment, subscribe.
Okay.
So I don't know that I have an opinion on whether or not people should do that.
So we play a kind of a passive aggressive way to do that.
Here's kind of the thing about that, just from thinking about it, or just from what you're asking. Yes, probably they need to do that.
Okay.
Because we live in a society where everything is in sound bites. We get so much input all the time, and everybody's asking us to do things.
Okay.
Even when we talk about your your hacking emails.
Yeah.
Right. There's always a call to action to it because that's how people respond to things.
Okay.
So yes, probably they need to do that, because if they don't, people are not going to be paying enough attention to say, "Oh, maybe I should." Right? Because when I have my subscriptions to YouTube channels, I have a very limited number.
Okay.
And I never ever do what they ask me to. I only subscribe to channels that I find that I start listening to on a regular basis.
Okay. That
But
makes sense. So does that
they
mean
do
every
it-
single time we do something, I say, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like,
Probably
hit that
hit
like,
the
that
like
like button. Yeah. Make sure you
subscribe
subscribe
to the channel.
Okay.
Because that's we're asking people to do something.
Okay.
We're not just giving out information, and we're asking people to actually. And for us, or for the YouTube person, or the whatever, the
Yeah.
influencer in particular,
Okay. We're gonna have to start pushing that a little harder. I guess.
That's how those platforms rate them.
Yep. That's right.
So
Okay. Well,
but it has to not become the whole
deal
caboodle.
too. Sometimes it's very annoying to me. I get that.
Oh,
All right.
I can't stand somebody who
says it like three times.
every 5 minutes. Hey,
And make sure you subscribe to our channel so you can learn more, and make sure you smash that like button.
That's right. In fact, I'm going to turn you off right now because I'm tired of hearing your voice.
All right. Okay. Well, now everybody take a call to action, because we're going to move to the Nathan Nugget.
This is your Nugget of the Week.
All right. Here we go. Well, is that your timer going off there, buddy?
That's my work phone.
That's your. Okay. Are you going to answer that?
No, I'm not at work.
Okay, that's good. All right. Okay, this is the Nugget of the Week. So I am now considered the floppy disk king. Do you understand why?
Yeah, I know why.
Okay, so what does
That's not what we're calling you,
$635 buy you, do you think, at an auction site? It buys you
a pallet of
8,407 floppy disks, 3.5-inch, 1.44 megabyte disks. I am now the proud owner, probably of the largest private unopened floppy disk collection.
I doubt
Well,
that.
I don't know, because there are so many people bidding on this stuff.
You're a legend in your own mind.
Okay, I think this is the case. Now, what's really cool is that you're soon going to be able to buy these bad boys for $10 a pop.
Are you seriously
on
hawking
eBay.
this? Are you seriously hawking those on the radio show?
Well, I got myself 770 of these units.
Okay.
So I'm just saying that you can look on eBay
Really?
for the universal double density high discs. Get them Nathan Special, TechTime Radio.
Okay. Why would I need 3.5 diskettes? I don't have a computer that uses a disk drive anymore.
Well, back in the olden days,
I know I had plenty of those.
Okay, so really,
and the 5 1/4 drives.
Oh, I know. I actually, when I bid on this, I actually thought there were 5 1/4 drives and only 3.
Yes, I know you were.
I was a little disappointed. I
was really happy. I was surprised that you were so over the moon.
Oh,
about
because those
5 1/4.
hadn't been produced for like 15 years. They stopped producing these about 7 years ago. So they don't make floppy disks. No one makes floppy disks
So
anymore.
who's using them?
Well, really niche item, but a really high-end item for collectors to have for old Mac 2s, old Mac PCs, old PC games, or where they want to build something and have a historical
Commodore
collection.
128.
Well, see, the Commodore 64s were great for the 5 1/4 discs, which I thought that's a big collection area, and that's what I thought I got, and I didn't quite get those. So
no, but I used to have a 128 with the 3 1/4 drive.
Yeah,
external.
You
drive,
can still buy. You can still buy
an
a couple
external
of those.
zip drive.
Yeah,
and a 5 1/4 built-in drive.
This is so that you could copy 50 of these to have your standard CD
Now,
be able to install stuff.
Well, now you can say smash that like button and subscribe, because that's essentially what you're doing here.
Okay, all right, there we go. All right, well, I was pretty excited about this. I went and picked them up today.
I know you were excited.
I was like a
about
little
it.
kid in the candy store.
I know
so
you spent a lot of time telling us about how awesome you were yesterday.
The floppy disk king. That's right. So
Yeah.
on a floppy disk.
King
All right.
Floppy.
All right. Well, now we're almost out of time, but we're going to move to our pick of the day.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right, we got the Freeland Spirits Bourbon Whiskey, 92 proof, $49.95. Of course, if you listen to the show, you're going to know that I have already going to give it a thumbs up because I love the taste of whiskey, and this one fits my palate also.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
Okay,
too.
thumbs up.
This one's very good.
This is very good. It does have very smooth taste. I will admit, Mark, who does our Mark's Mumbles, his whiskey is by far some of the best. So
yeah.
Remember to see you next week. The science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/TechTimeRadio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.